Sean Combs is a monster.
I want to speak about this now because I've witnessed everything.
I think Sean Combs can get away with anything.
He's a monster. He's literally a monster.
The billionaire rapper.
Diddy's horrific method of marking his freak-off party victims has just been revealed, and let me tell you, it's shocking. Worst of all, he was allegedly targeting women while they were innocently attending his community outreach events. Y'all, while people were thinking they were turning up for a good cause, Diddy was busy plotting ways to satisfy his sick fantasies. This story is extremely wild, so let's get right into it and discover how Diddy managed to get away with this alleged scheme for so long. Now, we all know by now that Diddy is one sick guy. I mean, the mountain of allegations brought against him at this point is enormous. However, the guy always seems to shock people when news comes out about the lengths he used to go to just to fulfill his sick and twisted desires. Now, recently, the New York Post broke the news on one of the shocking ways Diddy used to target his victims. Y'all, allegedly, Diddy used to hire men who would patrol events and parties he hosted for the sole purpose of recruiting young women so they could go and get intimate with Diddy after his events. Now, the Post spoke to one woman in particular who attended Diddy's 2004 white party in the Hamptons, and she had a lot to say. Now, on the surface, this white party in particular was supposed to be an innocent event for a good cause. Diddy had partnered up with Sony for a Vote or Die theme on the 4th of July, focusing on mobilizing minority voters for the election. I mean, who doesn't want to be a part of such an event that seeks to do good in the community? So naturally, people jumped on the opportunity to attend the event, and let me tell you, it was a star-studded event. In attendance were people like Mary J. Blige, Lennox Lewis, LL Cool J, and Paris Hilton, just to name a few. But little did they know the sinister thing that was allegedly happening at the party. Allegedly, as the party really started going, a small team of men fanned out into the party under Diddy's orders and began approaching women and propositioning them to have personal time with Diddy after the event wound down. One woman who got approached by these men recalled her time at the event and said, "I was there because my husband worked for Sony. I was talking to another woman and this guy came up out of nowhere. He said, 'Hey, Diddy saw you guys and wants to know if you want to hang out after this is all done.' I didn't really know what to say." Now, at first, the woman recalled being flattered when she was asked, but that soon turned into disgust after she realized what she was being asked to do. "He tried to convince me that it was an honor to be asked and then said that it would be an intimate time," she continued. "That was my clue that I wasn't being asked just to hang out. So I said, my husband would love to meet Diddy. And he was like, 'What husband? Who is he?' So I pointed him out and the guy rolled his eyes and said, 'Never mind.' But my friend said yes and went back to his mansion with him and a bunch of other people. She never really talked about it afterwards, but just would say that she shouldn't have gone. It wasn't a good experience for her." Now, this is far from the first time Diddy has been accused of such a thing. According to Tanea, another woman who attended one of Diddy's freak-offs, he would sometimes even ask his sons to go and personally recruit women for his freak-offs, and it all allegedly went down when he was hosting a party or an event. Tanea said Diddy and his sons ran the thing like a tight ship. She recounted her experience at a freak-off and all the bizarre things she claimed to see. Secrecy was a big deal for Diddy at this party, and he did not joke about it. I mean, this freak-off allegedly took place for years, so it seems like Diddy went to great lengths to keep everything quiet. Tanea alleged that security at Diddy parties was extremely tight, and that you couldn't just stumble into a Diddy party by mistake. People were made to hand over their phones and electronics at the entrance, and security sealed them in bubble cases so that no one could take a photo or video of what went down. It seemed like only Diddy was allowed to do that.
So we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, you know, it's he can get in trouble, like right now. So basically, we arrived, security guard patted us down. They put our phone in this little bubble case. So the bubble case is closed. They can't get unlocked until we walk out. So as we're in there, the only way of us taking any type of pictures is if we get in the photo booth. He has like a Team Love photo booth or whatever. Take like 4 pictures. So I, got pictures. I still got everything in my Snap too, like of the photo.
All right, get this tea. According to Tanea, Diddy's parties weren't just chaotic free-for-alls. They were highly organized with different sections, and guests couldn't just wander wherever they pleased. Tanea shared that at one of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, she was approached by one of Diddy's sons after she got inside. Apparently, his sons were in charge of handpicking people to invite into the main house where the real freak-offs were allegedly happening. But it didn't stop there. Those selected to participate in the freak-offs were reportedly given a pair of white shoes, which served as a clear signal that they were approved to take part in the wild activities. It's like there was this whole secret system in place, and not just anyone could get in. But as you can imagine, the story doesn't end there. it only gets darker. Tanea described the scene as complete chaos once you got into the section of the house where these alleged parties took place. The lights were dim, the music was blaring, and it was so loud and dark that you could barely see or hear anyone. According to her, waitresses were constantly passing around drinks, and a lot of the guests were walking around completely nude. But here's where it gets even weirder. Diddy allegedly had a thing for people dressed like Harajuku dolls, complete with red lipstick. Yes, dolls. And these weren't just late-night shenanigans. Tanea claims she saw this going down at 7 in the morning. Now, one way Diddy was able to stage such events was through the people he hired, and let me tell you, he put them through a lot, so much so that his former employees now keep popping up and filing lawsuits against him. One such lawsuit was filed by Philip Pines, who recently accused Diddy of assault, battery, and trafficking. Allegedly, Pines was the guy in charge of setting up hotel rooms for Diddy's outlandish Wild King Nights sex parties. But that's not all. Pines alleged that Diddy used to force him to sleep with women while he watched so he could prove his loyalty. Y'all, all this went down between 2019 and 2021, a period in which Pines spent most of his time covering up Diddy's alleged disgusting habits. Diddy reportedly loved to set up events which he called Wild King Nights, which involved multiple women and would often last for days. Pines' duties during these events included prepping the hotel rooms with red lights as well as alcohol, marijuana, baby oil, towels, and illegal drugs. Now, after Diddy had left, Pine was the one supposed to clean up after him, which often involved removing any evidence of drugs and adult toys, as well as cleanup stains from bodily fluids. Now, because of the mess Diddy used to leave behind after these alleged Wild King nights, Pine says that he would always need to leave a huge tip for the hotel's housekeeping staff just so they could keep quiet about what really went down. Now, during one event in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, Diddy got COVID, but he forced Pine to work. Diddy traveled with Pine to Turks and Caicos for Diddy's birthday celebration, and they ended up infecting other people with COVID. Now, Pine is far from the only Diddy employee to recall horrific things while working for him. A John Doe who worked at one of Diddy's parties filed a lawsuit against Diddy on October 14th, and he accused Diddy of assaulting during one of Diddy's infamous white parties over 2 decades ago. The incident in question allegedly took place back in 2007. Back then, John Doe worked for a private security firm. Now, one day he alleges that he got assigned to work a Diddy white party that took place at his estate in East Hampton, New York. While he was there, Diddy allegedly gave him 2 drinks during the course of the night that he believed were spiked. After taking the second drink Diddy gave him, John Doe started feeling really off, and that's when Diddy allegedly pounced.
So you had a friendly chat, and then, according to your lawsuit, at some point later in the night, Sean Combs himself offered you a drink. This didn't come from staff or someone holding a tray of drinks, it came from him directly.
Correct. The first drink started to have some effect on me, and I just thought, wow, these are really strong drinks. It wasn't until the second drink, and it was already too late, that I realized that there was something wrong with the drink.
John Doe said that Diddy approached him and acted concerned for him. Diddy then pushed the John Doe into an empty car where he proceeded to forcibly hold him down and committed the unspeakable while the John Doe screamed and pleaded for Diddy to stop. Recalling that night, John Doe said, "I wasn't able to stand. It was just an amazing level of incapacitation that I had never experienced before, and I felt powerless." Now, after the alleged sick incident was over, John Doe struggled to leave the party due to the effect of the alleged in his system and the pain his body was in. He then reported the incident to his supervisor, and that's when he learned that the supervisor might have been aware of Diddy's alleged behavior. He just dismissed it and said, "I'll talk to him." After that, he didn't talk to me again. He cut me out of everything. I was totally blacklisted after that. I had to find a different field. It seemed Diddy's influence was everywhere if these allegations were true. Just speaking about what Diddy did to him basically ensured that John Doe couldn't get any other security job. Things got so bad that he had to switch professions. His marriage also ended as a result of the alleged abuse. And he said, because of the trauma he endured that has negatively impacted his relationships. The full gravity of it lives with me to this day. It affects every single thing you do for the rest of your life.
There is somebody who alleged that they were 9 years old when they say that they were abused by Sean Combs. And this John Doe that I sat down with, he said, if a 9-year-old could do it, then I could do it. And it made him feel like he wished that he spoke out before because he could have prevented children from allegedly being abused.
Anyways, what do you think about these new and shocking allegations against Diddy? Do you think more people will come out and expose the awful things he did? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Till next time, bye.